everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're doing Clear Your Shit. So I made a video recently announcing that we're going to be doing the Clear Your Shit readathon through the whole end of the year, because that readathon is from November 1st, which is actually today, through December 31st. So instead of my TBR game, we are going to be doing this every single time there's a new drop of prompts. We're going to be picking our books and we're going to be reading them here. So it's almost like a vlog a week type of thing. And like, because it's November 1st, our prompts have dropped. We have the first 3 prompts. They do come along with a story, so we will read those, we will see what the prompts are, we will pick our books. This readathon is mostly just to be reading your TBR down. So everything that I'm going to be picking is from my TBR or ARCs, because I do have some e-ARCs I need to read as well. And technically that is part of my TBR, it's just not like a physical thing. We are allowed to combine prompts as well. I like the ability to sort of make this what you need it to be. So that also might be something that happens every so often, just depending on time or what the prompts look like. And I think because I want to do this as mood reading as possible, we're gonna pick one book at a time. This is the first week. We'll see how this goes. Like, if I know for a fact I can combine all 3 prompts and I only want to do but one book, we'll do that. But if I need to have the ability to change it up a little bit, we'll do that too. We'll see. Okay, but like I said, today is the 1st of November. We have our first 3 prompts. So to start, this is year 6 of Clear Your Shit, which is called Threads of Fate. I did not do Clear Your Shit last year, but I did do it every other year before then, and I have always failed. So yes, yay. Let's see what happens this year. This time it says, the ship lands with a thud, a large library on an empty street before it. The peasants hesitantly get out. Oh yeah, we're peasants. We have like a narrator that narrates everything, and they like to call us peasants. The peasants hesitantly get out, with myself and Ariadne behind them. Around them, nothing. The only thing that seems to exist in this plane of existence is the library itself. The peasants are urged on by their leader, me, narrator, obviously, and they go to knock on the door, which is stupid. It's a library. You can just open the door. Before they knock, though, the door opens on its own. So the first thing we're supposed to do is read the most recently added book to your TBR. This is a little bit intimidating for me because I was sort of hoping that my pre-order from Barnes & Noble was going to be in by November 1st so I could read that, because I'm very, very excited about it. It is not here yet. I double checked the tracking. It's not supposed to be here till like November 3rd. So besides that, my most recently added book to my TBR, which I think, does it go this way? I think it does. I think it goes this way. Is the Evernight. I have not even unboxed this yet. I know what's in here. Like I said, I'm a little bit intimidated. But since this is our prompt, let's open the most recent Evernight. And this is apparently the book I'm going to be reading first, which is You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. So this is obviously the Evernight version. This is Andrew Joseph White's first adult horror, and I'm very intimidated by this, because I read The Spirit Bares Your Teeth. Oh, I'm probably butchering that title. I'm so sorry. This one, which was a book that came in like a rainbow crate or something. Like I got a special edition cover and things, and I liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but the actual way that the book was written and things made me deeply uncomfortable, which, I mean, it's a horror, and that was a YA horror. It is supposed to make you horrified or unsettled and things like that, and it definitely succeeded in that fact. But because this is adult, I'm a little bit worried it's going to be too much for me, but at the same time, I have been reading some other horror things this season, this year, that have not gotten enough for me either, so I'm tentatively happy about this pick, but let's go through this because I've actually not seen all the special edition stuff. So this is our cover here, which is creepy. Not overly creepy, but okay. We do have a lot of like gold foiling, so on our spine and here on the back, it says, "Oh child, this world was not made for ones like you. Come with us, come with us, come with us." And then our edges in the bottom and the top. That is a little bit creepy. Oh, okay. And then underneath the desk jacket, we have some like red foiling on there. It's also shiny, so it's a little bit hard to see, but definitely more grotesque. And then here, yes, here is our end papers, and here. So this is some sort of like dystopian, no, not dystopian, like post-apocalyptic thing where I think there's like a hive mind or a parasite or something that like helps these people. Like it is very like dark, post-apocalyptic, and our main character is trans, and we're gonna have definitely some issues of like dysphoria and stuff because he ends up getting pregnant. Yeah, let's read the summary here. "You've made it. You are safe. You are home. Festering masses of worms and flies have taken root in dark corners across Appalachia. In exchange for unwavering loyalty and fresh corpses, these hives offer a few struggling humans salvation. A fresh start. It's an offer that none refuse. Crane is grateful. Among his hive's followers, Crane has found a chance to transition, to never speak again, to live a life that won't destroy him. He's even met Levi, a handsome ex-Marine and brutal killer who treats him like a real man. Mostly. But when Levi gets Crane pregnant and the hive demands the child's birth, no matter the cost, Crane's desperation to make it stop will drive the community that saved him into a devastating spiral that can only end in blood." Again, it's gonna be dark, potentially body horror, things like that. I, just as a woman even that has been pregnant and things like that, don't know how I'm going to feel reading from a trans guy's point of view, having to be forced to be pregnant, basically. I do think this is going to be quite horrifying. So, like I said, nervous, cautiously excited, because again, this is something that I debated getting actually, because like I said, I read one of the YA Andrew Joseph White's and I was deeply unsettled. And this is adult and it's going to be more. But also, like I said, I've had other like horror things that I've read that did not hit the way they should have. And so if I'm really wanting horror, I think this is going to be a good one. So that's the first book that we're going to go with. We do have 2 other prompts that I think I'm going to be trying to do 3 separate books for, just based on what the prompts are, what I've seen. We're going to read this one first before we come back and pick our next one. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm so nervous about this. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so I am getting the mail. It is currently raining terribly today, which is fine, but we're getting the mail. I have had my book delivered, and this is the book that I was talking about before. I will show you guys like once we get it and everything, but I know I was supposed to be reading You Were Meant to Be Human, and it's now the 3rd day of November. I did finish a different book on the 1st, but then I had no motivation to read yesterday at all. And I just know that it's gonna take me longer to pick that book up and read it than it is to get this new book that I knew was coming in, and I was like crossing my fingers hoping that was gonna be the one that came in. If I get it today, which it should be delivered, it said it's delivered, and then just reading that one. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pick that up. But also, I need a pick-me-up right now because I was supposed to be editing my video this morning before this book was delivered, waiting for it to be delivered, and I accidentally deleted like 3 video clips that I needed for this video and for a different video that I was going to edit. So I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm trying to recover it right now, but it says it has like over 2 hours left. And I accidentally disconnected the camera cord from the computer that was doing the recovery. Like, I barely tapped it. And it completely was like, you need to reconnect. And then it started over. So, I'm just also done with today already. It's barely noon. We're going to have lunch and stuff soon. Presley's at school. It's Monday. But I'm just done. So, we're going to get the mail and take it home. Okay, we are back home. I have my package. This will be my book. We've also had lunch and stuff too, so it's been a little while. It still says it's only 69% complete with trying to get my files back. And I don't want to refilm things because some of the stuff that I have here that I accidentally deleted is like things that I don't remember what I said, but I need to like edit. So we're gonna, I guess, attempt to read for a while instead. Here we go. Moth Dark by Kika Hatsapolu. I read Threads That Bind. Was it last year, the year before? I don't know, but I absolutely loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. And so this one is not in that series or anything. It's going to be completely different. And I'm just very excited to have it. Our edges here are very interesting. They're, I don't know, are these like, yeah, they're like the ones that like the paper is printed through the edge. Like it's like a bleed or like a false edge, something like that, where just because of the fact that we have extra ink on the edges, like on the edge of the pages that goes through the bleed area, it looks like sprayed edges, even though it's not, which is just interesting. We have a very nice like lilac color underneath the dust jacket. And this one says Sasha, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce the name, but that's what I'm going with, has always loved the dark. 6 years ago, when the world she knew collided with the world of the dark, she found it thrilling rather than terrifying. Now she spends her days studying dark creatures or seeking them out in the shadows where they thrive. Then one day, she impossibly pulls a person from the dark, a person who shouldn't exist, and they're here to kill her. Nugao, the heir to the dark world, claims to be delivering a sentence for Sasha's betrayal in a battle she's never heard of in a war that hasn't happened. Sasha escapes with her life barely, but tensions are brewing between her world and the dark, and it's not long before she discovers that she and Nugao are bound together by forces they don't understand. As they grow closer, crossing worlds and timelines, they must find a way to fight for peace and for each other. This is going to be YA. Definitely feels sort of, I think, fantasy romance, but like in that YA sphere. I mean, just look at the cover, obviously. And definitely more intrigued by this one currently than You Weren't Meant to Be Human. I told my husband when that book was the one that I was supposed to be reading that was like a book that, because I want to read it, but I'm so nervous about, it's one of those ones that you buy and then it sits on your shelf for like 5 years. Because I definitely have some of those. So we're switching. I told you guys before that I'm trying to do this more as a mood reading type of thing, and having to be forced to pick something that I don't feel is going to be good for my like reading mood. Not going to motivate me to do it, might put me into a reading slump. We're going to skip that one. And so this was the one that I was hoping was going to come in earlier. It didn't. It came in today. But we're still only on November 3rd. So I'm going to start reading this. Well, I guess I wait for my files to try to do more. We're at 71% now, which is better. But oh goodness, like crossing my fingers and toes and everything that this stuff comes together so I can get my files. Like it was literally an accidental click. Instead of download, it was delete. And there's no way to undo that. So I'm very, very sad. I'm hoping. Okay, we're going to be reading this one next. Now, because I have the time. Yeah.
Mommy, are you taking a picture of you like that?
You want me to take a picture of you like that? Okay. Okay, so it is the next day. We went and dropped off my ballot for voting because today is the 4th. And like I mentioned yesterday, my computer, my camera, I accidentally deleted files. I finally got them back. I did have to pay a little bit to actually download the stuff because the file was way too big for all the free things. But I was able to post my video, which is great. It took like all day for the software to like scan everything. But that does mean I got to read quite a bit of this yesterday. I read up to page like 85, and then now I'm currently on part 2, which is like page 117-ish. I did notice yesterday as well, I don't know if this is like a printing error, but I have like it's like a dual font type of thing, even like the author's name. So it looks a little bit weird, but we're going with it. I don't really mind. yeah, so far so good with this. This is definitely following, it's Saskia, and then Nugo, which is the like dark princess is what they're calling them, because one interesting thing about this world, or I guess not this world, this is set in our world, but like in a world where this like dark area has sort of popped up. There's like these dark maws and holes and stuff where certain creatures can come out. And that world, we can't really go in there. We just see these things come out, but they have like a gender system, which is obviously different than here. But all the different creatures and elves, they call them elves as well, have different markings on them. And if it's purple, they have like a he, him pronoun. If it's blue, it's she, her. And if it's white, they're going with they, them, because they don't think that that is on the gender binary as much as the other two colors. Obviously, things could be changing a little bit, but so these creatures can change their gender at will. And so I love the idea of that. We have seen a few different iterations of Nugo, where he's been he, him, she's been she, her, and they, them, like all the different genders and stuff. We also have a good cast of like other LGBTQ characters. Saskia's cousin, Danny, I'm pretty sure he is her cousin, is in a wheelchair as well. And so like we just have all this like different good, interesting stuff, but also the storyline is very, very intriguing because it does appear that this dark area is on a different sort of timeline. Like it's not straight like ours. So the different iterations of things that we're seeing could be from the past, could be from the future. Like I said, I'm at part 2 now, which is probably close to about 1/3 of the way through the book. And I'm definitely very intrigued to keep reading. I don't have to go pick up Presley for like an hour, I want to say. So I think reading more is my goal for right now. And so far so good. Like I mentioned before, I have read other things by this author. I read Threads That Bind, which is a duology, and I did not finish the duology yet, even though I have it, but like I love that one, 5 out of 5 stars. So this one is going very, very well. Okay, it is time to go get Presley, and it is pouring outside. We walk rain or shine, pretty much. I'm now getting rained on because the wind's going this way. It is so rainy right now. Yeah. We're home. Elliot was dry the whole time because of the cover on the wagon. I'm soaked. It's still raining. Presley decided to carry his jackets from the school to me, and they stay outside for a little while. He ended up with a t-shirt under an umbrella, which is hilarious. But so he was mostly dry as well.
You don't need that. Be up there.
Oh, do you want to get a chair to help you stand?
Yeah.
They're over by the shoes. Okay. 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 Beautiful. You want another green one?
Yes. Dad.
This one?
Yeah. That was our dad.
Yeah.
You gotta put it right there. No, Dad. No. You gotta put it right there. That looks like beautiful.
Okay, so it is the next day. I did not get any reading done at all yesterday, which was just my bad. I need to finish that book today because otherwise we're going to be very off track for the Clear Your Shit readathon, because I know what the other 2 prompts are for this week, which is almost over now. We still have like 2 or 3 days left, I want to say. But I wanted to read a separate book for every single prompt this week because I knew what I wanted to read, and I just haven't fully finished that yet. But we did go to Fred Meyer today, which is like, depending on where you live in the United States, your Kroger type of store, and got stuff for dinner and things like that, things that we needed. We needed more milk, needed more eggs, needed more cheese, you know, those kind of things. But also they ended up having a sale on all their Halloween stuff, obviously, and it's all like 90% off, I want to say. So like the kids, Elliot picked this one for Presley. It's like a little cup, normally like $7, on sale for 79 cents. And then they also had mugs for 99 cents when they're normally almost like $10. I want to say like $9.99. I did not get any because Leon will probably kill me if I did, because like those are my mugs. But they had a blanket for $2 something when it's normally $24. So it's probably like $2.49. I bought that. I could not help myself. Candy, whatever they had left. They didn't have a big selection. I did buy this for like $1 something when it's normally like $5 something. So the candy wasn't like 90% off, but all like the home goods were. And like I said, could not help myself. We also have way too many blankets. Actually, there's a whole closet upstairs that is supposed to be a linen closet, but it's literally only blankets. But since we're not living in Arizona anymore and we're living in Washington and it's like literally raining, ever since yesterday it's been raining, I personally love that weather, but it means you get to cozy up. And I think that's probably why I like it. Although I do walk to go pick Presley up and drop him off, like we walked to drop him off this morning. It was only like drizzly, but now on the way back from going to Fred Meyer, it was definitely raining more. And Elliot, actually, we got out of the car here at the house and she's like, our car is wet. I'm like, yeah, it's because it was raining. And she's like, that's so rude. This girl, she's funny. Okay, but that means we're home now. I unloaded all the groceries. Everything is put away. I should film, but my hair is now up because I was getting a little bit warm in the store and then, you know, humid with all the rain. And I washed it this morning. It was very, very nice this morning. Very curly, a little bit frizzy, obviously. But now I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna film. I think I'm gonna get my book and cozy up on the couch and finish it, hopefully. It's only 11:20 right now. I don't have to go get Presley till almost 4. We will have to have lunch, but like, I should be able to finish that. Okay, I officially finished this last night. I think I read over 200 pages yesterday because I was a little bit less than halfway through the book yesterday morning when I first picked it up. And I made myself finish it because I knew I could not take any more time with this. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I absolutely loved the other book that I read by Kika Hatzopoulou, which was Threads That Bind, a Greek myth sort of retelling, sort of current day, sort of dystopian. It had a lot of different like myth things as well, but it was more about like the fates and things like that. Absolutely love that first book. I need to finish the duology. This does have Greek heritaged main characters. So like our main character of Saskia and her cousin Danny and her family, that kind of stuff. So I did like the inclusion of that. It is also, what are you doing, girl? Standing up when you know you're not supposed to. It is also this sort of like contemporary fantasy type of thing where, like we said, there is the dark and things have been coming out of the dark. And we find out that like the timelines don't 100% match up. There is some romance in here. I love the inclusion of this like complete dark world and races from the dark world where gender is very fluid and it's very different than our own. And I really liked that our love interest is basically a very gender fluid. They accept all pronouns and genders and things like that. They mention it a little bit in here that like they literally feel like all sometimes, but they do change as well. So based on the colors of the markings that they have, you can tell like what they want their pronouns and what they're feeling like they are currently. So I really liked the inclusion of that. I will say the reason it's a 4-star is because of the weird, not exactly time travel, but like interspersed timelines thing, because it never actually matches up. The way the conclusion is on here is a little bit weird. It wasn't fully explained. Like I did get it. I do know where the author and stuff was coming from, but the way that the characters got to the conclusion was a little bit like all of a sudden I thought of this, and I'm just like, how did you get to that conclusion based on everything else that we went through? I did like a lot of how the timelines matched up because, again, because of the weird time nature, especially if you've watched like Doctor Who before, especially when you get into like the River Song stuff where like their timelines don't match. That's sort of like how it is in here, and I liked that inclusion, but there were some choices that were made that I just wished were a little bit better. But again, a very fun read. It is YA, just keep that in mind, but it definitely feels fantasy romance. Like the romance is in here. It's not like the hugest part of the story, but it is still integral. Really enjoyed it. I think this author is one that is probably one of my favorites, so I was very happy to finish it, and hopefully that means I have enough time to read my next couple things. We're gonna go through what the next 2 prompts are actually, because I think we only have like today to finish this vlog before the next prompts come out. So what we have going on is prompt number 2. Let's read our little story part first before we actually get to the prompt. But so for prompt number 2, it says, as the peasants file in, and there are far too many of you these days, a lanky child approaches the group. They look like what a librarian in miniature would, nondescript, but notably a teen of some kind. They are smiling at all of you, excitement oozing out of them. Before we can say anything, they cheerfully announce, hello, I'm Hawthorne. I brought you here. Welcome to the library. You can somehow sense the capital L for library, a proper noun, a name of something important. You all don't know how you feel about this just yet. So prompt number 2 is to read a children's/middle grade book, or one with a child in it in case you do not read those age groups. I do read children's and middle grade, and I have an arc that is actually coming out this next Tuesday, so I have about 4 days to read it. So this might be something that I start today, but it will move into next week a little bit. But it's going to be Rapunzel and the Sea Witch, or The Little Mermaid and the Tower by Kim Bussing. This is the 3rd book in the Princess Swap series, and the 3rd book of this series to come out this year. I've actually read the first 2 already. I read them both, I think, as arcs, and this is an arc that I have. But I've also purchased my own copies because I gave the first book 5 stars, and I gave the second book 4 stars, I think. I didn't like that one as much as the first one, but they are still very, very fun. The first one was Cinderella and the Beast, or Beauty and the Glass Slipper. So Cinderella and Belle from Beauty and the Beast get swapped in their fairy tales. The second one was Snow White and the Dragon, or Sleeping Beauty and the Seven Dwarfs. Again, same thing, Snow White and then Sleeping Beauty get swapped in their fairy tales. It wasn't a direct sort of swap in the second one, which is part of the reason I didn't like it as much. There was a little bit more going on in a way that I didn't want, but like not in a bad way necessarily. And so this one's gonna obviously be Rapunzel and the Little Mermaid, who has a different name in this story because they're not direct like from Disney or storybooks exactly. It looks like the Little Mermaid's name in this one is Hannah or Hannah. It has 1 N, which makes me think Hannah more than Hannah. Whatever. But so they're going to be swapped somehow in their story. And so this is a middle grade. It is 320 pages. Because it's middle grade, it should not take me too long to read, but I definitely want to get into that and read it and write my review before Tuesday. So that was like the thing that I knew I needed to do, and the fact that we had a children's/middle grade come up, I knew I needed to do that. But then, like I said, I think we only have like today left for this vlog, actually. So I want to go straight to prompt 3. So let's read our little story. As we begin to introduce ourselves to the strange child, a woman seems to appear from between a set of shelves. She is tall as narrator, and just as frightening looking, but much less attractive, in case you weren't sure. Hawthorne, dear, you have brought guests. This silences Hawthorne, who up until this woman's arrival had been chatting away with everyone with excitement. It seems that perhaps this library does not often get guests. Welcome to the library. I am its caretaker. You may call me librarian. This is said as though she has no other name, and Ariadne mutters under her breath, great, now we have 2 tall women who insist on being called a title instead of their name, which I thought was kind of rude, but I digress. And that's because the narrator who's narrating for us also is just called narrator. But so the 3rd prompt is to read a book with a potentially intimidating or scary character in it. I have a few different books that I could choose for this, but something that I discovered while I was doing my book haul recently, the one for October, is I have a manga that I have not read. It's a horror manga, and let me grab it. But it is by Junji Ito. This is Moan, the newest short story collection by Junji Ito. And let me tell you, this is gonna be something that I can definitely read today and finish and talk to you guys about. So we have one more thing to talk about in this video, because I do not think I'm gonna finish the middle grade tonight. But he's like, these books, these stories have very scary and intimidating characters in here, very creepy style characters. And so the fact that this is a horror manga will be very quick to read. I discovered, like I said, during my book haul, I did not read it yet. I literally bought it in October knowing horror manga, new horror manga, and I didn't pick it up and read it yet. So like, I definitely need to. I want to, and I think it's gonna fit the prompt perfectly and be a quick read. So that's why I wanted to just like tell you the prompts that we have. Maybe I'll tell you the 3 prompts at the very beginning. I was hoping to like sort of go in order, but we can also combine prompts if possible, if we want to. And so like, I know later in this Clear Your Shit readathon, I'm going to want to combine prompts depending on like what we're doing that week and things like that. So this is gonna be the next thing I read. I think I'm gonna skip over the middle grade for now. Read this first, but I'm very excited to jump in. And then before I actually let you guys go, I got a package recently. So let's do an unboxing. There's one book in here. This is from Allurial. So this is gonna be the Allurial box for November. It is literally for November. And basically this is a fantasy romance subscription from Book of the Month. It works the same sort of way where you pay for like a credit, and then technically you use your credit in order to get the books that you want. You do not have to use the credit every month. They do accumulate if you haven't used it, etc. You can also skip months, but the way that they end up doing it is they don't actually announce what the current month's book is until like after you've paid for your credit. So it's a little bit harder to do that. But there was one book for November that I was intrigued by, and so I did pick it up. I took the book out, but I do love that we have this. This book box also, like when you pick the book that you want, has like some tropes and spice level in it. And so when I was looking through all the books, the reason I picked the book that I did was based on those information. So before I show you the book, I'm gonna go through that stuff first so you can sort of see what I saw when I picked this book. And so the hot take was morally gray, magically bound, and maddeningly funny. Damien is sure to steal your heart. The sort of tropes that we have are morally gray, stuck together, and I have a secret. These sort of tropes that they're showing, I've seen the same things listed for other books. Like it seems like they might have a set number of tropes that they have to go through, the ability to pick from. And then for spice scale, this is medium. They did have one book this month that has the like 3 pepper wild spice scale, but in general, the only books that they've had so far have been 1 or 2. So keep that in mind. It does come with a very cute bookmark, which on the like shiny part does say Allurial. And then if we go into our book, it is the first book in Villains and Virtues. This is Thrown in the Dark by A.K. Kagiano. I'm probably not saying that correctly. I do love the cover of this. I'm pretty sure this is something that used to be indie, is going to be coming out traditionally published, and this is like the newer cover for it. We do have sprayed edges, so this is one of those things where this is more of a special edition book than just like a standard Book of the Month book. But we do have more of just a plain hardcover. Here is what the spine looks like. But they do have end papers that are pretty cool. So the whole point of this is more, you get sprayed edges, you get a cool cover. Some of their books are now coming with specially designed, like special edition covers. Not this one, but then you also get end papers. So it is something that's a little bit prettier. The printing of them, it's a floppy hardcover. The paper thickness seems really nice. Like this does seem like a good quality book. And so I did pick this up. I don't know when I'll get to it. The back does say, holy gods, she whispered. Infernal darkness, he corrected. I do think that's sort of funny. So, just wanted to show you guys that before I jump into filming another video, technically, but then this one. Okay, so Friday is one of my busiest days. Elliot had gym class. She did pretty well with it. She's always a little bit, like Presley, a little bit more nervous about like going and just like committing to things. There's also certain things about the class, like they're running around and just like going crazy, that she doesn't like as much. But like when they actually do the gym like skills, like bars and beam and rolls and things like that, she loves it. But there was a lot of kids in her class today, and by the end of class, she was just like kept coming to me like, I don't want to, and like she would watch more than going and doing. And I think it was because their class varies. We've had a small class size, like 2 kids, versus all the way up to like 8. Did we ever get more than 8? I don't know. We had 7 today. And so when they do certain things, like they explain the skills, like we're going to do this on this beam and this on this bar, and then we're going to do a monkey jump or whatever. They were doing like more jump skills today. They're supposed to go in a rotation in order, and she does. But a lot of the kids just sort of run around and cut in line. I mean, there's not really a line. They just sort of do whatever they want. Some kids do one skill the whole time. And she's not too sure what to do with that when kids start doing extra stuff or going a little bit more wild and crazy. Like, she'll be waiting for her turn and kids will get in front of her. And like, if there is a teacher and instructor there, they will be like, hey, it was Elliot's turn, let's do this. But not all stations need an adult there, especially when you usually have like 1 adult per like 4 kids. So sometimes you only have 2 adults with 7 kids. It gets a little bit crazy. And so near the end of class, I think that was really making her overwhelmed. But she, besides that, did amazing. And now we're at Presley's challenge school. This is like their gifted and talented program that he tested into last year. And so he's been going this year. It's 1 day a week at a different school. He takes a bus to this different school in the morning. But the bus ride to this school in the morning is like 20 minutes. The bus ride on the way home, because we have a bus driver shortage in our school district right now, is like over an hour because they have to drop off like 3 other schools at the same time, and we're the last school dropped off. So he does not do well with the unknown and not knowing when he's going to get to his school. He also is prone to car sickness, and so I don't think that helps. But so he does not handle riding the bus back to school and dropping off all these other people and not knowing stuff. So I go and pick him up when they get done, and then drive the 20 minutes back to his normal school so he can finish out the day. Because usually by the time I get over there, they still have like an hour left of school. And then I will go home for a little bit less than an hour, and then we have to go back and pick him up. So like Friday is my busiest day, which is part of the reason I was saying earlier, I don't think we're gonna get through all of the books this week. I did start reading Moan earlier, and I've gotten 3 stories in. They seem like longer stories than sometimes. Sometimes we have like a bunch of shorter stories. This one seems like more longer. They're still short stories, but like longer in length. We've had some like weird things with like a kid who is new to town and likes the supernatural, and like things in town start changing in a really weird way. We've also had a story that was more like vampire blood-esque. It's very, very creepy. The art style obviously is peak Junji Ito, so of course it's very, very creepy. And then we also had one about like a family where the mom was like really obsessed with being clean. I will say that one had some characterization of a guy that felt a little bit fat phobic, but it was also because the guy was dirty, and like the whole family, the mom especially, is very into like the cleaning, like so much so that it gave me a little bit of like Macbeth vibes, where she was like kept washing her hands even though nothing was there, that kind of thing. So I was a little bit more uncomfortable with that story at the beginning. It isn't purely about like this guy. He's like a teenager from a different high school than like one of the daughters, and the way he is drawn is very dirty, overweight, blemish filled. The teeth are obviously not well taken care of, and so like it comes off in a sort of negative way, and not just like this is a creepy guy stalking her. He is, but I almost wish that he would have looked a little bit more normal, and it wouldn't maybe like keep him dirty because that was part of the story plot, but like maybe don't have it as like over exaggerated of like the other features, because it just is uncomfortable to be like, oh, well, he's obviously ugly or whatever it is, that's why she doesn't want to be around him. Like, make it so that it was because he's dirty in the family. It was just like, that was the only one so far that had like a slight negative for me. Everything is very creepy. I was just thinking that didn't need to be like done as much, you know what I mean? But I think I'm over halfway through the book. I don't know how many stories I have left. And I'm actually here at Presley's school a little bit early. I did not bring my manga. I probably should have. I don't have to go and like check him out of the office for another like 15 minutes. So I think I'm going to start my Rapunzel and the Sea Witch, or Little Mermaid in the Tower. I don't remember which one's first. I think it's Rapunzel and the Sea Witch. I'm going to start that, I think, just so I can like say that I've started some stuff. Oh, also the Junji Ito manga, one of the stories has kids in it. So like, I mean, technically I could have used that one for the second prompt and not just the third, but I am going to read the other one as well. Probably won't finish it today, but I have a little bit of time. Okay, so this is going to be our last clip for this vlog because like I said, I'm pretty sure we're getting some new prompt drops tomorrow. I did officially finish Moan. There are 6 short stories here, and like I said, I think I had read like half of them basically when I talked to you guys last. I did just finish them. The 4th one is called Flesh Colored Mystery, and let me tell you, that is the creepiest one in here. I think I have to give this book 4.5 or 5 stars. I don't know exactly like 100% because like I said, I did have a little bit of an issue with one of the characterizations that we had in here, but besides that, what it does very well. It is very creepy. It is very grotesque and unsettling, and that Flesh Colored Mystery one I think is one of the longer short stories in here, and it did what it did very, very well. The other 2 stories near the end are much shorter, like only like 10 pages or so. Still creepy, just not as good, probably because they're like not as fleshed out. But like, I don't think they were bad necessarily either. I'm gonna maybe 4.5. I don't think this is like my new favorite short story collection. I have a few 5-star short story collections from Junji Ito. I think we're gonna go with 4.5, but I still really enjoyed it. It is very creepy. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. And then I did mention earlier I was gonna start the middle grade book. I did. I got about 10% in 15 minutes. So like, again, it's not gonna take me too long to read. I will probably read some more tonight, but I probably won't talk to you guys until later. But yeah, that's my last one that I needed to complete for this week. I will come back in my next vlog. We will start with some new prompts and see where we go from there. But I'm very excited to do this readathon. Like I said, this is going to help me read my TBR down, read some of my arcs down, because that middle grade one is an arc. I'm hoping that we get quite a few books off of my TBR shelves and see where we go from there. We have 2 months, and yeah, I'm very hopeful at this point in time. And so that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up to let me know. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.